off. Today is day 200 of the year of streaming and learning to code. That's, I don't know how to feel about that. I think that's good. I want to be excited about day 200, but that means there's still 165 more days of this left. So, yeah. That's, I guess, a positive thing. But we'll make it, I think. I just keep focusing on the next day and today. One day at a time. It's a whole lot easier to focus on or to deal with, but we're gonna get there. Day 200. Let's do this. freeCodeCamp, we are continuing our journey here in the heart of the basic JavaScript stuff that they offer. Let's do freeCodeCamp because all of it is green. Things are loading. Alright, so decent sized chunk over the last few days taken care of. We have a long ways to go though. Store multiple values in one variable using JavaScript arrays. Let's gander at the map. Yeah, all of this. Yeah, that's still on our to-do list. So invert things, accessing goes to the bottom. And we've got use conditional logic, which goes to the bottom. Holy hell. And, yeah, so that's use conditional at the bottom. So, in 2 or 3 things. Alright, so we've got about close to 3 full scrolls worth, pages worth, whatever form of measurement you feel comfortable referring to this amount of distance and content is. That's what we have left. Are we going to be able to get through all of it tonight? I sincerely doubt it, but let's do our best to make as big of a dent as we humanly can. Considering the time, it is 11 o'clock at night, or 2300 for anyone using the 24-hour scale, which we are, so yeah, brace yourselves. Let's do this. From the top, breaking new ground on day 200. Store multiple values in one variable using JavaScript arrays. With JavaScript arrays, variables... Hold on. God, we are just awful. Already restarting from the top. Good, good. Make sure to start day 200 off with a fizzle. That's what I wanted. With JavaScript array variables, there we go, like a human. That's what the comma's for. We can store several pieces of data in one place. You can start an array declaration with an opening square bracket, end it with closing square bracket, and put a comma between each entry like this. Variable sandwich equals peanut butter, comma, jelly, comma, bread. Instructions. Modify the new array, myArray, so that it contains both a string and a number in that order. Hint, refer to the example code in the text editor if you get stuck. Something about this guy and doing something here. What's going on? Something about something. I stopped paying attention after about this part. There was peanut butter, and they lost me. Modify the new array, myArray, this guy, or gal, or piece of code, whatever you prefer, so that it contains both a string and a number. String and a number, string and a number. Blue flower, red thorns. Blue flower, red thorns. This would be so much easier if I wasn't colorblind. Eh? Shrek? No? Come on. Someone knows that line from Shrek. That joke was for you. What are we looking for? Stringy stuff. Stringy stuff. And a number. And a number. Our example, so cat number 6. Run test. Face melting guitar solo. That's a lot of celebration for a 6th cat. Okay. Okay. So, onwards. We've completed at least one. We were at 150. Now we're at 151. Let's do this. Nest one array within another array. You can also, oh, we're highlighting the wrong things. You can also nest arrays within another array like this. Bulls 23, White Sox 45. This is also called multi-dimensional array. A multi-dimensional array. Instructions: create a nested array called myArray. So we are going to shove more things inside of more things, inside of more things, and so forth, and such and such. Let's get stringy. And a comma. And, number stuff. Well, we did 6 last time, so let's just continue with 7. And here will be stringy things. And we'll do 8. Yes, yes, good, good. So cat and dog and fish. Yeah. Or bird. Fish, bird. Good, good, good. Spool up the FTL drive. Onwards. I realize we aren't in chat on our phone. Let's load chat things. There's chat. And let's also do a quick rundown. We have mic audio, checkity check, webcam, golden, light stuff. Oh, that's right. The light's still broken. We've done plenty of late night streams. We've done a handful with the lights off. Usually the missus is sleeping, but yesterday, 2 days ago, can't remember, said light bulb died. We haven't replaced it yet. All we have is our trusty desk light to guide us through day 200. So that's what we're faced with, and chat on our phone. Little Kitty was somewhere. She migrated across the screen very early on and disappeared into the darkness. So, yeah, hopefully she stays gone for a while. So, while she's gone, let's try and make as much progress as possible. Okay, accessing array data with indexes. We can access data inside arrays using indexes. Array indexes are written in the same bracket notation that strings use, except instead of specifying a character, they're specifying an entry in the array. Like strings, arrays use zero-based indexing, so the first element in array element is 0. Example, variable array 1, 2, 3, array 0 equals 1, variable data array 1 equals 2. Instructions: create a variable called myData and set it equal to the first value of my array using bracket notation. More importantly, our face is leaking, our nose is on the verge of just, it doesn't feel great, but I want to deal with this first before dealing with my nose holes. Something about something. All I can think of is my nose dripping, and it's just, yeah, focus. Only winners get to blow their nose, Steven. So you better finish this, and then we can deal with it. Create a variable called myData. Yes, yes, good. Creating. Ta-da! Variable myData. Birthed a variable. Look at that. Miracle of coding. MyData, set it equal to the first value of my array using bracket notation. My array. There's a lack of letters in there. There we go. And we want it to be the first value, so big fat 0 for my data. And go ahead and run test. Boom. Skadoosh. Target acquired. Beautiful. Beautiful. Ah, nosy things. Yeah. Normally we'd block it, but in the essence of saving time, we're just all gonna indulge in this. There we go. Horrifying. Okay. Dear God. No bueno. No bueno. Now our face is sealed. Now we're down to operating off one lung. You hear that? Not a lot going on in there. That's what I'm dealing with. Well, you know what? We can hold our breath and make it through. Okay, modify array data with indexes. Unlike strings, the entry of arrays are mutable. Something. You know, I took a pause like there was a comma, but there wasn't. Unlike strings, the entries of arrays are mutable and can be changed freely. Example, variable array 321 r array 0 equals 1 equals 121. Interesting. Kind of cool. Instructions. Modify the data stored at index 0 of my array to the value of 3. So we get to throw a 3 into this guy. My array equals so forth and such. No, it doesn't equal. Bad Steven. My array brackets and stuff 0 equals no boxes or brackets, just a 3, a lone 3 wandering through the night. Ta-da, it's on like Donkey Kong. For now. Alright, access multidimensional arrays with indexes. One way to think of a multidimensional array is an... You know what's throwing me off is the fact that they go from bolded font and italicized to still bolded font and italicized, but they don't... It's not the same color. You see this? This is consistent. My array down here in my data, it's throwing off the pacing, right? Not that we aren't very good at reading anyways, but that's a separate issue. One way to think of a multidimensional array is an array of arrays. When you use brackets to access your array, the first set of brackets refers to the entries in the outermost, the first level array, and each additional pair of brackets refers to the next level of entries inside. Example, variable array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, array 3 equals 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 3, and 0 equal 10, 11, 12, array 3, 0, 1 equals 11. Something is clearly happening here. Didn't quite follow. Using bracket notation, select an element from my array such that my data is equal to 8. So we can pick and choose, I think, what is happening here now. If I'm not mistaken, my array... something equals semicolon. Is that right? Only change code below this line. Using bracket notation, select an element from my array. 1, 2, no, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 3.1, 3.0, 3.1, 3.2. Okay. Only change code below this line. Variable, my data, 0, 0. So we've got 0, 0, so that's 1. And right now we want my array. I can see it in general. I just want to make sure. So we're just picking anything at all and making it 8. That's what's happening. So we're going to need two brackets then. At the minimum. And let's go ahead and do 1 and I want to do 1 again. So I want to change this guy. 5. Make it equal to... I was going to do 9, but let's make it 15. Huh? 15. Still gets to be a 5, but it's an upgraded 5. Also, 15, it stops at 14, so it just kind of feels right. Let's update that. Run. My data, they're pissed something went wrong. Oh, because we needed to make it equal 8. Anywho, it still worked because that's 15, but now we know. Let's go ahead and throw an 8 in here, and then they should be slightly less pissed at us. No. Oh, my data should be equal. Aha, my data equals blah, blah, blah. So we need to set these to 0. I get what they're asking for. It was their activity, their instructions, and probably just my general understanding. Didn't quite get what was going down. And now I'm officially confused because... blankety blankety blank. We made my array. Is it because we changed other stuff beforehand? I wonder if they're comparing the whole string, because now... My data, 1, my array, 8. See, there's an 8 in the first spot. Using bracket notation, select an element from my array such that my data is equal to 8. Hold the phone. Wait a second. So we're not updating anything. All we're doing is telling it which one to pick. So they want us to pick 8. So really, that's 0, that's 1, this is 2, and then 7 is 2, 0, and 8 is 2, 1. That's what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to look like this. Technically this one, but instead of 3, 0, it would be array 3, 1. I think. Let's clean up that noise. 2 and 1. Let's give that a shot. Why don't they like the formatting for this? Should there be a comma expected, an assignment or function call instead saw an expression? Maybe variable? Does it need to be like console log or something? Let's run it. Why are they so pissed at us? My data, blank, blank, blank. You know what? I think I'm crazy. I'm not supposed to... I don't know how I ended up adding this. Watch this. I'm going to hit reset code. There's no data on line 7. I added that because I'm a crazy person. Now, after all of this, do I realize all they wanted was us to implement or input the numbers here. Oh, you crazy bastard. Can you believe this? That's all they wanted. You're out of sight. No, what it should say is you're confused. Being me. Typical. Typical. Alright. Manipulate arrays with push. An easy way to append data to the end of an array is via the push function. .push, parentheses, takes one or more parameters and pushes them onto the end of an array. Variable array, 1, 2, 3, array push 4, array is now 1, 2, 3, 4. Instructions, push dog, comma 3 onto the end of my array variable. Variable array, Stimson J cat, rarray.push, happy joy becomes Stimson J cat, happy joy. Nice. So we're looking for, it's got its own brackets, kind of like the happy joy and John 23 and cat 2. So let's go ahead and add something, pushing. Here we go. My array. My array dot push equals, no, not equals, parentheses, brackets, semicolon, quotes, dog 3. And we're running, and we're running. Raise the roof. Okay, good. We survived 6 items. We have a long ways to go. Okay. Manipulate arrays with pop. Another way to change data in arrays is with the .pop function. .pop is used to pop a value off the end of an array. We can store this popped off value by assigning it to be a variable. Any type of entry can be popped off an array. Oh no! God, that's bad. I can't even remember the last time we've yawned on stream. This isn't a good sign. That's an omen of doom and sleepiness, and mainly sleepiness, and probably less doom than anything else. But yeah. Good God, so much for a long stream, right? Okay. .pop, used to pop off a value at the end of an array. We can store this popped off value by assigning it to a variable. Any type of entry can be popped off an array, number, strings, even nested arrays. For example, the code, variable 1 down, 146.pop. The variable 1 down now holds value 6, and the array becomes 1, 4. Use the .pop function to remove the last item from my array, assigning the popped off value to removed from my array. So all we do is set up a new variable and its name, and then we equal it to whatever the array is minus the .popping. So let's pop the out of this thing, shall we? Variable array 1, 2, 3 removed from our array.pop, my array John 23 cat 2, only change code below this line, or removed from my array equals something. What did they want us to actually remove from the array? Blankety blank, use the pop, remove the last item. 2. We are getting rid of 2. No, all we do is .pop, and it does all the hard work for us. So my array, we don't have to identify. I thought we had to specify like .pop 6 or something, but we don't have to worry about that. It's just .pop on the array. So my array .pop. We be poppin'. Hashtag pop life. D onward ho. Sure. Huzzah. That's fitting. Manipulate arrays with shift. Pop always removes the last element of an array. What if you want to remove the first? That's where .shift comes in. It works just like pop, except it removes the first element instead of the last. Instructions: use the .shift function to remove the first item from my array, assigning the shifted off value to removed from my array. Run test things. No, not run test. bad Steven equals dot shift equals my array dot shifting parentheses mostly good running test. Everyone's happy, joy, fan freaking tastic. Okay, manipulate arrays with unshift. Same song and dance, hopefully. Not only can you shift elements off of the beginning of an array, you can also unshift elements to the beginning of an array, i.e. add elements in front of the array. Unshift works exactly like push, but instead of adding element at the end of the array, unshift adds the element at the beginning of the array. Instructions: add Paul35 to the beginning of my array variable using unshift. Noted. So unshift and happy. So we're going to shove 35-year-old Paul into our array things. Only change code below this line. Shift stuff. My array shift. We get to do the unshift stuff down here. My array something about something focus Steven dot unshift. Short-term memory. Gotta work on that. Unshift. Followed by something or other, semicolon, with Paul and company, Paul and friend. Let's try that. And we're running. I also live dangerously. Sure. Don't we? Don't we all? Shopping list. Are we getting closer to the stuff? I think we made it out of the rinse and repeat section, the variable my list or my array dot blah. I think. Shopping list. Create a shopping list in the variable my list. The list should be a multi-dimensional array containing several subarrays. The first 5 elements in each subarray should contain a string with the name and the item, with the name of the item. The second element should be the number representing the quantity. Chocolate bar, 5. There should be at least 5 subarrays in the list. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So, 1, comma, something. No. So that's 1 subarray. Inside that goes parentheses and a comma and a space with a number. And we're going to do 1 out here. Food stuff. Subliminal messaging. They said chocolate, so I kind of want to continue with chocolate. But, watch this. Space. Yeah, chocolate stuff. Copy. Comma, space, paste. Comma, space, paste. Comma, space, paste. Comma, space, paste. Okay. 5 things. Look at this. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Chocolate. Strawberries. Chocolate. Chips. And chocolate cakes. Yes, good. Anything chocolate. Cookies. Yeah, that's one. That's a food group. And all that's coming to mind is cats and little kitty, so chocolate cats. Sounds really messy. Let's go ahead and run that. Pikachu chooses you. Pikachu chooses chocolate. That's what I learned from that lesson. Write reusable JavaScript with functions. In JavaScript, we can divide up our code into reusable parts called functions. Here's an example of a function name, console.log, hello world. You can call or invoke this function by using the name followed by parentheses, like this function name. Each time the function is called, it will print out a message, hello world, on the dev console. All of the code between the curly braces will be executed every time this function is called. Instructions: 1. Create a function called reusable function which prints hi world to the dev console. Call the function. Okay, example function, our reusable function console.log, hey world, curly nonsense, our reusable function calls that. Only change the code below this line. Let's do function, reusable function, curly bits, no, parentheses, now curly bits, and console.log, parentheses stuff with a semicolon, and some quotes, which we will grab from our section down here. Copy, and we're shoving, reusable function, copy you. There's a lack of copying. There we go, and parentheses, semicolon, run that. You're shooting star. They are too kind. They missed the other 160 activities we did. Passing values to functions with arguments. Okay, this is good. This is good. We're now getting into the Java-y scripty parts of JavaScript, which is nice instead of just all the basic noise. But the basic noise is the foundation, so it's not that it's not important, but functions are fun. They even start with fun. Functions, right? Oh, death. That reminds me. The right thing. I know I've said right a lot, and it's bothered me. It's irked me. Before, there was, like, twitchy things that I was doing, but I've just come to terms with that. I'll just have to live with the fact of being an itchy bastard. So, but the right thing. It's there. It's a go-to thing. So I'm going to make the conscious effort to stop that, but oddly enough, because I think about it a lot during most of my streams, but I just haven't mentioned anything. But I was watching Day 9 stream yesterday, and he was actually discussing saying right as well during the stream, and he was going in depth. When you're the only person in a room and you're just talking to yourself, it's kind of like making conversation with yourself. It's kind of self-confirmation. Anyways, it just sort of happens. But it's an annoying thing for others and yourself. And then I think it was I Am Shaz who said the comment, like, left ? As if that's a better solution. And it made me chuckle. But I think that's what I'm actually going to implement to stop me saying right. So I'm still going to say something. I need to go to something kind of like quitting a habit. You need to replace it with something else. So I'm going to replace right with left. And I hope at some point I'm going to find that so ridiculous that I just stop saying left instead of saying right. It's going to be painful. I'm probably going to forget, and it's going to be super awkward. But we're going to give it a shot. Hopefully I can remember that. Anyways, let's continue on. Onwards. Let's close this. Passing stuff. Passing values to functions with arguments. Parameters are variables that act as placeholders for the values that are to be input to a function when it's called. When a function is defined, it is typically defined along one or more parameters. The actual values that are inputs or passed into a function when it's called are known as arguments. Here is a function with two parameters, parameter 1, parameter 2, function test, fun, parameter 1, 2, console log 1 and 2. Then we call test fun, hello, comma, world. We've passed in two arguments, hello and world, inside the function. Parameter 1 will equal hello, parameter 2 will equal world. Note that you could call test fun again with different arguments and parameters would take on the value of new arguments. So, instructions. What are we up against? 1. Create a function called function with args that will accept two arguments and outputs their sum to the dev console. Call the function. I feel like we're just going to be mimicking this yet again. Shocking. Right? No, not right. Left. Shocking. Left. There we go. There we go. One down. One down. Now I'm totally focused on lefting instead of figuring out the function fiasco. Create a function called function with args. Copy. Function. Function with args. Two parameters, I would assume. Curly nonsense. And console log that accepts two arguments and outputs their sum. Okay. So it will console log dot and plus. Hopefully that's cool. Which arguments would they... I guess we could just use A and B again. Let's do C and D, just because we can. Why not? C plus D, and we will call it copy to... Do they have numbers that they've provided us that they want to use? I see they're going to be testing 1 and 2 and 7 and 9, but yeah. You define it. Call blank blank after you define it. 3 and 7. God, I hope that's okay. Ta-da! You're a shooting star. Whew. A lot of room for failure. Okay. Global scope and functions. In JavaScript, scope refers to the visibility of variables. Variables which are defined outside of a function block have global scope. This means they can be seen everywhere in your JavaScript code. Variables which are used without the variable keyword are automatically created in the global scope. This creates unintended consequences elsewhere in your code or when running a function. Again, you should always declare your variables with var. Variables which are used without the var keyword are automatically created in the global scope. Okay, and that can create issues. Instructions. Use variable to declare a global variable, my global outside any function. Initialize it with a value of 10. So we're going to have var myglobe equals 10. Inside function 1, assign 5 to oops global without using var. Okay, let's do this. So declare your variable here, assign 5 blank, only change code above this line. Global stuff, variable my global equals something or other. 10. Focus, Stephen. Focus. And next, assign the oops global here inside said function with oops global equals 5 without variables. So oops global, no var, oops global equals 5, semicolon. Run that. The world rejoices. How many people actually know what's going on? Us learning how to code. Little do they know that it's day 200 and we are struggling after 199 days. Not a lot of people are thinking about that. Almost no one. But that's okay. Local scope and functions. Variables which are declared within a function as well as function parameters have local scope. That means they are only visible within that function. Here's a function, my test, with a local variable called loc, one of those. Function my test, variable loc foo console.log loc my test spits out foo console.log or loc equals undefined. So what's going down? Ah, yes, because my test is the actual function and that's within it. Loc. So it knows to spit out foo. But when we do console log outside and not refer to my test, we just drop it here, it's confused beyond belief and it spits out undefined. Loc is not defined outside, or loc is not defined outside of the function. Instructions. Declare a local variable, my variable, inside my local scope. Run these tests and follow the instructions commented out in the editor, which is here, but hint. Refreshing the page may help if you get stuck. We will only refresh once we are totally lost and doomed and stranded with no help, which shouldn't be too far from here. Function, my local scope, use strict console.log my variable, my local scope, run and check the console, my variable is not defined outside of my local scope. Console log.my variable, now remove the console log line to pass the test. So just to make sure, let's click run. They're super pissed, reference error. So let's get rid of this guy. Console log can go straight to hell. And I think we would end up replacing that with this guy. I think. And let's hope for the best here. Run test. They're still confused. What did they want us to do? Declare a local variable. My variable. Inside. Oh, we're making a local variable. My variable inside my local shop. Run the test, and then follow the instructions commented out in the editor. Well, let's reset the code. Inside my local shop, we are adding a my variable. My variable equals, what is our variable? Stuff. Cat stuff. I don't know what else to do. Little kitties usually here, so usually our stream's fairly catty, feline-y. Something involving tiny creatures with fur. Usually there's a lot of that around these parts of the interwebs and Twitch. My local scope. So my local scope has the my variable. Console log will print my variable, which will spit out cat. Console log my variable. Run and check the console. My variable is not defined outside of the local scope. Console log blank. Now remove the console log line to pass the test. Run here. Blankety blank, not defined. And this guy Run again. Still pissed. Why am I missing something? Let's do stuff. I feel like it's this part. It's either this console log that's screwing things up, or this console log. Not that console log, but that call for that function. Something is deeply wrong here. Maybe it was that line. Untest. Let's do console log here. Console dot log. Maybe. Hopefully. Yeah, they're not liking any of this stuff. Typical. So what am I missing? Local. This shouldn't be that hard. It's an activity thing. It's not that I don't get the console loggy bit. It's this part. My test. I don't get what the use strict is for. I don't know what that's about. I don't think that needs to be there at all, but it is. So variable loc my foo something the fuck is happening. Local scope and function. Variables which are declared within a function as well as function parameters have local scope. That means they're only visible within that function. Yeah, it only operates in that tiny world. Here is a function, my test, with a local variable, loc, function, my test, variable, loc, foo, console.log, loc, my test, spits out foo. Console.log is undefined. Loc is not defined outside of the function. Fair enough. Instructions. Declare a local variable, my variable, inside my local scope. So let's do variable. Maybe that was the issue. Run the tests and follow the instructions commented out in the editor. There was the console log stuff, which we may need to refresh. So it was probably the variable thing that we just added on line 4. Reset code, clear my code, pasting things in, run that. They're not happy. Run and check the console log. Nothing really happened. My variable is not defined outside of my local scope. Here. Now remove the console log line to pass the test. I don't think they're talking about 6. That wouldn't make sense. They're probably talking about line 12. Let's get rid of all of that in its entirety. And now run the test. Ta-da! Gotta code them all. Holy hell. An uphill battle of trying to understand infinite confusion. We've gone over that. That is my superpower. No matter how clear something is, we can somehow find a way to be confused and just totally miss the point. Global versus local scope in functions. It is possible to have both a local and global variables with the same name. When you do this, the local variable takes precedence over the global variable. In this example, variable, some variable had, function, my function, variable, some variable head, return some variable. The function, my fun will return head because of the local version of the variable is present. Instructions, add a local variable to my outfit to override the variable of outerwear with sweater. Sweater is on the chopping block. The sweater is going straight to hell And we are going to do something about a local variable involving my outfit. Setup. Variable outerwear t-shirt function my outfit. Inside the curly braces is where we get to live. Return outerwear my outfit. So we're updating outerwear. Is that what's happening? Add a local variable to my outfit to override the outerwear sweat. Yeah, okay. So let's get outerweary. Yeah. Variable blankety blank equals something. What's more important than a t-shirt, sweater? They're confusing me with their examples. Oh, it should return sweater. We're updating t-shirt to sweater. This is that confusion thing we were talking about. It also doesn't help that it's basically midnight. It's 11:52 or 23:52, and her face is leaky again. Typical. Okay. Maybe it's just our lack of oxygen. We had to go back to just holding our breath again to make it through this. We're like a whale or any other seafaring critter that has to take a breath at the surface and then go about its daily life. That's me, except there's no water around. We just have to kind of take a deep breath and then limit what we can do. Which also affects our capacity to think clearly. So I'm going to chalk it up to the lack of oxygen, inconsistent breathing, whatever we call it. Something about instructions. Add a local variable to my outfit to override blank with sweater. Here it is. Sweaters for everybody. You get a sweater, and you get a sweater. Wow, a sweater's the last thing I would want right now because it's so ungodly hot in this hellhole of a bedroom. Keep it together, Steven. I think we're starting to chip away at delirium. I think. Or delirium is starting to chip away at us. Whichever is more accurate. I think the latter is checkmate. Because now we're starting to just really spiral into madness. I can feel it. Return a value from a function with return. Return of the Jedi. Or any other fun movies that have the word return in it. You can pass values into a function with arguments. You can use a return statement to send a value back out of a function. Function plus 3 num. Return num plus 3, variable answer plus 3, 5, and other stuff, plus 3 takes an argument for num and returns the value to equal num plus 3. Instructions. Create a function times 5 that accepts 1 argument, multiplies by 5, and returns the new value. Monkey see, monkey do. We are going to repeat basically all of that noise, but with their updated info. Times 5. Grab your function, ladies and gentlemen, and hold it out. Function. Get ready. Times 5 and coming around. Get your fill. Single function, not plural, for anyone who noticed that. No S's allowed. Curly bits. And a semicolon to boot. Probably return, since that's what they were talking about. And let's get weird. Let's throw a num in there, or a 5, or what did they want? Create a function times 5 that accepts 1 argument, multiplies it by 5. So we're going to do num, because we can. It's either num or thing. I'm going to stick with num. We are going to stick with num. Num times 5. You know what? Let's do thing. I wasn't feeling it, but thing times 5? Who doesn't want that? Yeah, anything times 5. Cool beans. The air pressure changed in the room, the cat door moved. It's little kitty. We can sense her presence. Look at you, you furry demon, covered in cuteness and fur. We know what you want. Tummy scratches. Who sent you? Who are you working for? Wow, we're really losing it. We're like fully acting out scenes with a cat. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. Assignments with something. Assignment with a returned value. If you recall from our discussion... No, you're right-clicking. You're right-clicking. Your toes. Tiny. Hey. Yeah, move. Damn it, Whiskers. And now we're having highlighting issues. No, I just fixed it. You can't go walking over the trackpad again. Will you pick a place to scratch your face and then just, like, sit down? The back and forth thing is not... In this is a tail. We're all in agreement? This is a tail? I think so. Yeah, good. Explore the bed. Look at you. Full of curiosity. Ready to adventure. Take on the household. What are we looking at? Assignments with a returned value. Of course, because that's how everyone wants to spend their Wednesday night at 11:58. Think about assignments with a returned value. I swear to God, Cat, if you lay down on our phone. No, just look. I cleared the spot on the desk. Be happy. Just... There, we turned you. No, that's my tissue. Don't play with that. That's disgusting. Just go to sleep. Usually you nap. Be nappy. You were probably napping in the other room before you came in here. Just keep living the dream. Assignments with a returned value. If you recall from our discussion of storing values with the assignment operator, they've got this extremely bolded and it underlines. I don't remember any of it. So let's see what the hell they're talking about. Storing values with the assignment operator. In JavaScript, you can store values. Okay, in general, yes. You can make things equal things. Yay, assignment. Good. What a great tale. Everything to the right of the equal sign is resolved before the value is assigned. Yes, we do recall that. This means we can take the return value of a function and assign it to a variable. Pretty damn cool. Assume we have a predefined... No. Assume we have predefined a function, sum, which adds two numbers together. Then, yes, and only then, our sum will equal sum 5 and 12. We'll call the sum function, which returns a value of 17 and assigns it to our sum variable instructions called the process argument function, with an argument of 7 and assigns its return value to the variable processed. Okay. Let's go ahead and piece together this nightmare. Example, variable changed 0, function changed num, return num plus 5 divided by 3, changed equals changed 10. Setup, variable processed equals 0. What are we doing with processed? Oh, that's what change is starting as. We've got our variable... We've got our variable processed, which equals 0, just like changed. Then it runs through the function, stuff gets returned, thrown around, and then it gets spit out as this, changed equals changed 10. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. So... variable processed equals 0, function processed argument num, return 3 blankety blank. We are going to take process argument. No, we're going to take processed equals. Will you stop sniffing my elbow? Just go live your life somewhere else, little cat. Ugh. God, her whiskers just, like, lightly caressing my elbow. No, I can't. Dude can't think when you're tickling his elbows. That's not good for coding or trying to learn. Jesus. All right. Totally threw us off focus. Process argument equals this with parentheses, and we're supposed to shove in a number of their recommendation. 7. They want to try a 7 on for size. And a semicolon. That's what I want to see. Yeah. That's hot. That's hot. Let's run this. Fingers crossed. Skadoosh. Boom. 1 for the Guinness Book. Or just 1 for one of the many activities here on freeCodeCamp. That was activity 167. Just so everyone is aware of that. Not meant for Guinness books, and for only activity 167. Let's keep everything in perspective. Stand in line. Yeah, good. The activities are getting better. First we were assigning things, now we're spending our Wednesday night. No, now technically it's Thursday morning. We are 2 minutes into Thursday. And now we get to stand in line virtually while we learn to code. So let's deal with that. Stand in line. In computer science, something. Yeah, we're good. In computer science, a queue is an abstract data structure where items are kept in order. New items can be added at the back of the queue, and old items are taken off from the front of the queue. That's kind of cool. Okay. So write a function next in line, which takes an array and a number item as arguments. 2 parameters. Array or argument, whatever the hell that is, and then item. Neat. Add the number to the end of the array, then remove the first element of the array, and the next in line function should return. So, oh god. There's going to be like strings and popping and unshifting and some other stuff. At least I would think so, but as I'm looking at all of this, it seems like that might not actually be the case. That's just how I would have liked to implement it. So once more, write a function next in line, which takes an array is the first, and a number, that's the item, as arguments. Add the number to the end of the array, and then remove the first element from the array. Okay, so this is our array. We're going to tack on a 6, and a 1 can go straight to hell. 1's on the chopping block. The next inline functions should then return the element that was removed. Okay, so the next in line... so we're waiting in line at the DMV. Everyone pulled a ticket. 1 gets to go first. A new person came in to the DMV. They pulled ticket 6, which gets added on into the queue, and 1 is ready to go. So they called 1, and technically vice versa. 1 gets called. We've got 5 people in the DMV queued up. 1 gets called to the window. So 2 through 5 shimmy forward, making room for 6, which gets thrown in the queue. Ta-da! There we go. That's the DMV in a nutshell. And basically any other line ever. So what are we doing? Now that we went through their whole story time regarding standing in line at the DMV to be added to the queue, we need to do something with it. Function. Next in line, array, item, your code, return item. So can we blankety blank change this line? I don't believe them. Return item, change this line. I don't also know if they're talking about specifically change line 5 is in the code, or change line as in like the theoretical line, the queue, the line at the DMV. I think they're talking about line 5. The DMV was our 2 cents. They're talking about the queue. No, they're talking about the line. Fuck. I don't know. But let's figure this out. It is so warm in this room. I'm like trying to learn in a sweat box. sit here on the surface of the sun and try and learn this. There's lots of numbers involved. Good luck. That's where we're at right now. Functioning nonsense. Write a thing. There's array, an item. It's already there. Add the number. Okay, so if we're adding the number to the end of the array, we're taking item and we are pushing. So item push. Is that all we need to do? That can't be right. Hold on. Item dot push. That's... Is that how it works? That's not how it works. Item... No, that's not it. That's not it. It's the name of the array. It's test array dot push and then whatever we're adding. That makes sense. Dot push item. Is there a semicolon? There is a semicolon. 6. Your code here. Test array is blankety blankety blank. And we're adding 6. I think. I don't even know. This is all awful. Because it shouldn't be hard coding 1. It needs to be the next one. It needs to be whatever the element is plus 1. It needs to be... It needs to be... In a perfect world, regarding numbers, if it was just numbers, I feel like it would be test array again. Test array. And then the last number, like if we know the Q is only ever going to hold 5, I feel like it would be 0, 4 plus 1. Do you get what I mean? Like, that would be the number. This would always be updating the last number, but I don't know if this Q is locked at 5. I feel like the Q may grow. And then we'd always be updating whatever is here at you know, not at the end, but at specifically this, well, technically here. At the 5th spot, the 4th element. What's the command for the last? Maybe it's test array. Test array something. There's got to be some beautiful line of code that just does exactly that. Also, I think I'm totally overthinking this whole thing. What's happening? First, let's go through. Yes, we're writing a function next in line. Technically, they wrote it for us next in line. We've got our 2 arrays, which they also supplied for us, so there's not a lot of new ground in that first sentence. Add the number to the end of the array. I feel like we'll be pushing stuff. My 2 cents. Then remove, and that would be shift to pop it off, unshift to add it on. Then add the number to the end, remove the first. The next inline function should return the element that was removed. So it should remove the first element in the queue, which would be return test array test array 0. But you know what test array is? The thing. Test array is a global variable, and we're looking at the function, and there isn't anything in here. They only give us one line to work with. Not that we can't change it, but display console. Console.log before plus JSON.stringify test array. Next in line, test array, comma 6. So this is the next in line function. Here's the array, which is the test array, and then we're adding in item, which is 6. So test array dot push should be 6. No, should be item. Is that what's happening? Next in line, blank and blank. I need to do something with array and something with item. So this, that's the issue. Item. Item. There we go. Crazy person figured it out. So it's returning this. And then after JSON stringify test array return, change this line, it's returning test array 0. At least that's what I think. That's what I'm going to go with for now. Test array, no, array 0. Because we don't have test array. The array is test array. Ta-da! I think there's some more work with that, but we're going to finally be content enough with that. Run it. Okay, we at least got this much, which is cool. After next in line should be 10. I think... Let's get a hint. That's what I think. We've spent needless amount of time on such a simple issue. Let's go ahead and put the final nail in this coffin. So, problem explanation. In computer science Q, abstract data structure, yeah, things come in, things go out. Great. In a function next in line, array, and a number arguments, the end of the array, adds the number to the end of the array, then removes the first element of the array. The next in line function should then return the element that was removed. Yeah. Change the code below your code here and up to change this line. Whoa. Change the code below your code here. Yeah. And up to change this line. Sure. Ensure that you are editing inside the next inline function, which we are. Use the array and function you learned. Use an array function you learned to add item to the end of your array. Check. Use an array function you learned to remove the first. That's what we need to do. We need to shift. We need to shift 0 and then return that. That's what we should do. That's what was missing. So, from there, so we can keep adding on. And, I don't know if we should be removing on the fly. I guess we could. Let's just try, because they only gave us 2 lines. Let's see if we can return shift.array. Or array. What is it? Would it be array 0 dot shift? I'm not sure. If it doesn't like this, then we will do array shift and try that. 0? There's a lot of bad happening here. There's a lot of bad. Let's try test array. You know what? What if it's array.push item? Maybe that was our issue. And then array here. Because there was no need to hard code the name test array. Right? Left. I remembered. No rights, only lefts. Good. Ah, we did it. Feel that need for speed, and in fact, we're going to reflect on that for a bit. So we've got function. Next in line, array and item. Parameters. Doing their things. Love being paramy. We've got array.push item, and then return array shift 0, the first thing in the array. Our test array is this right here. 1 through 5. It shows whatever happened before its original state. Then it runs through the next in line, adding things, chopping things off, and then it goes through and returns that after the glory. And that's what's going on here. So test array gets thrown into array. Hey, tiny cat. We're explaining. 6 is what's hanging out here. See, test array there. And then it runs through test array.push 6, return test array.shift at 0. So it'll chop off the first element of this, and we are golden. Look at that. All right, feel the need for speed. Beautiful. Next challenge. I think we may, because we're starting to lose steam. It's been late enough. Let's see what, it's 12:18. That's roughly like an hour-ish, I think, of streaming. Or an hour and 20 minutes of streaming, something like that. We're at item 168. Let's go to item 170, shall we? Little kitty, will you stop clicking? Oh my god. You're quoting. You did a smattering of single quotes and a small herd of double quotes. But we'll deal with that. We can reset the code. Bet you didn't think we could do that. Furry abomination. Clear your code, absolutely. Okay. This is like she never destroyed anything. 168. Let's make our way to 170. I think that would be good. So, understanding Boolean values. Another data type is Boolean. Booleans, wow, you know what? That's really interesting they waited that long to introduce Booleans. Again, I'm only comparing off of the last 200 days has been all learning, right? Left. Fuck. So, the last 200 days has been all learning, correct? There, found a loop around that. So, we've had some experience going through tutorial site after tutorial site, if you will, on how to learn some of the basics, what they focus on, and it's been interesting to see at the lower levels what they focus on, how they implement it, or go about explaining, and things like that. There was something else, it was like Booleans, and maybe it was the operators. There was a couple things introduced extremely early on at Code Academy, which seemed kind of like the core values. And although there was a big gap where we weren't using JavaScript because we were focused on other things or activities, it's been good to get back into it here. But it's just interesting to see the difference on where they place the things to focus on first. Whether they're considered more important or not, I'm not sure. I'm definitely understand building a solid foundation first and then proceeding down whatever path or picking a direction. So that's cool. So yeah, but I feel like we learned about Boolean stuff much earlier on in the Code Academy environment. So I just think it's interesting. 168 items in. Technically, this would be item 169 before they really mention it. So yeah, that's that. Anywho, good times. Just food for thought. Things we've noticed. And other changes similar to that, but anyways, I'm probably the only person who finds that remotely interesting. Mainly because I've been the only person trapped on this journey for the last 200 days. Yay, 165 more days of this. Careful before you pick a year-long commitment and challenge. Yeah, that's really the moral of this journey. Understanding Boolean values. Another data type is the Boolean. Booleans may only be one of two values, true or false. They are basically little on-off switches where true is on, false is off. These two states are mutually exclusive. Note, Boolean values are never written with quotes. Oh, the strings true and false, not Booleans. They have no special meaning in JavaScript. Instructions. Modify your welcome to Booleans function so that it returns true instead of false when the run button is clicked. Let's change the f*** out of this thing. Only change the code below this line. Only change the code above this line. Change this line. Guys, should we change this line? I think so. I kind of want to change a line below here just to spite them. But we're going to change this one. Good, good. And now it's true. And we're running tests. Bootylicious? Ah, yes. I think that highlights how frequently I use this word. Bodacious. That's what that spells. Good, good. I'm thinking of the Baudelaires. The orphans. Series of unfortunate events? No? Okay. Yeah. Boda. That's... Bodacious. I don't actually think I've ever typed out that word, written it. Good to know. So, I guess I can add that to my resume. I know how to spell bodacious now. Not sure that's really ever going to apply in any of the jobs I'm interested in doing, but who knows? Life can lead down an interesting path. I will be sure to update anyone and everyone when I come across a job that requires me to use bodacious as a daily activity. Good, good. Well, that was 169. What a perfect activity to have bodacious tied to its conclusion. What do we have here? So this is the end of day 200, this whole bit. So let's see what we're up against. Where do we stand overall, too? We still have quite a ways to go, dear God. But we made a decent dent, all things considered. 20-ish. There was something somewhere. Bracket notation. I think it was storing multiple values. That's where we began our journey. Good, good. I can live with that. 20 items down. Okay, let's finish this. Use conditional logic with if statements. If statements are used to make decisions in code. The keyword if tells JavaScript to execute the code in the curly braces under certain conditions, defined in the parentheses. Yes, good, the almighty parentheticals. These conditions are known as Boolean conditions because they may only be true or false. When the conditions evaluate to true, the program executes the statement inside the curly braces. When the Boolean condition evaluates to false, the statement inside the curly braces will not execute. Bad curly braces. Pseudocode. If condition is true, curly stuff, statement is executed. Example. Function test. My condition. If my condition return, it was true. So if my condition was true, it would return, it was false. Test, true, it returns, it was true. Test, false, it it returns it was false. Dum dum dum. Notice the iffy statement things here. When test is called with a value of true, the if statement evaluates my condition to see if it is true or not. Since it is true, the function returns it was true. When we call test and it was evaluated, yes, true and false, death. Okay, happy thoughts. The itchy, terrible feeling of we know this is a good sign. That means it's sinking in, which is a good thing. You want the knowledge to sink in, despite how easy and basic it is. It needs to happen at some point. We've encountered this quite a few times before at Code Academy. However, I'm happy to subject myself to the basic JavaScript stuff yet again, but here at freeCodeCamp, because what I learned at Code Wars was that Steven suck long time at Code Wars. Really JavaScript in particular. There was a gap period between when we learned Cody stuff. JavaScript. That's what it was. We were just talking about it. When we learned JavaScript at Code Academy before we journeyed deep into Code Wars. So we forgot a lot of the stuff. Like, if we were to dive straight into Code Wars, which I'm planning on doing, after we finish the basic JavaScript section, I think we should be able to fare much, much better than we had prior to this. So, that's kind of what I'm waiting for before we tackle any more katas. But then, from there, I'm hoping to do katas daily. I hope. Some of those katas are really long. A lot of those long ones, though, have been just due to a general lack of knowledge and understanding. So I'm hopeful with brushing up my skills here on JavaScript, relearning the foundation and fundamentals. I believe we should be able to fire through katas fairly quickly, or at least much, much quicker than we had been. So that's that. But katas daily, I hope, or at least at the worst every other day. And progress elsewhere here at freeCodeCamp. I think once we get into the pattern of doing katas daily or every other day for a while, including freeCodeCamp, we may throw, what's the other site? Treehouse into the mix. But I sort of want to see where this freeCodeCamp path leads in general. So that's that. In the meantime, example stuff. Getting frustrated, reading true, false. When we call test with a value of false, my condition is not true, and the statement in the curly brace is not executed, and the function returns it was false. Instructions. Create an if statement inside the function to return yes, that was true, if the parameter was that true is true, and return no, that was false otherwise. So, here we go. Functions are true or false is true. If it is true, return yes, it's true. Otherwise, return, no, it's false. Why don't they just throw in an else? What's wrong with that? Do they just want us to assume? Is that like the new way of doing it? Not gonna lie, feels very freeCodeCampy. The kind of assumption card. Didn't want to say it. Kinda obvious. It's what I'm feeling. It's a thing. Others have mentioned it. Couldn't help but notice. So now we get to do the same song and dance to our own beat down here. Function, true or false, was that true? Only change code below this line, only change code above this line. If, parentheses, something, dark something. It's a trap. If, was that true? Meh. Son of a, we're stuck inside the parentheses. If was that true, return, look at that, we can even use their return, blankety blankety blank, with a semicolon, eh? Yeah, look at that. Very cool. And lastly, the last bit, and then we get to call it quits and power down everything. Thank God. If it was false, return. No, that was false. Copy. Wow, look at that. They don't even... It's not really quite an else statement. I mean, it is, but they have curly... Here's the entire set of curly braces for the whole function. Function stuff, beginning and closing for the function. Then they've got the if statement with its beginning and closing, and then they've just got return floating in the wind inside the function post if statement. That's interesting. So that's what we're doing here. That's the opening, that's the closing, here's the if statement, and then floating aimlessly around nearby is the return no, that was false, with its trusty semicolon. Let's run that. Beautiful, beautiful. Off the charts. Hot damn, we did it. There we go. That is 170 activities down, so a good chunk of 20 added to our list. Good times. On the books for tomorrow, day 201, we will be continuing on from here, comparison with the equality operator. Sounds exhilarating, right? I know I'm going to be there, because I have to be. Yeah. Sucks to be me. So, comparison, and lots of comparison stuff, apparently. So, good times. Let's back out to our profile. We can go ahead and close this guy down, and we can start to power down the stream. Thank you again to anyone and everyone who may have stopped by to view the stream. Even if you accidentally stumbled in here, any and all views are greatly, greatly appreciated. Let's back out of freeCodeCamp in OBS. Day 200 comes to an end, but the adventure continues tomorrow with day 201 of the year of streaming and learning to code. In the meantime, we are stopping the stream. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it.